In today's session, we'll be focusing on the use of online social platforms to connect and communicate with others online. When talking about social connections, we're referring to maintaining digital relationships via digital platforms, i.e. social media. You might have had or even have some registered accounts on social media. Some of the bigger social media sites that you might recognize are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and more. So today we're running the Bite Size Connect and Communicate. We run this bi-weekly with our how-to sessions. The how-to sessions complement the Bite Size because in the Bite Size we look at doing more of an overview. We also run a digital clinic where you can book appointments. It's a one-to-one session or one to a group, small group, just so that you can ask questions and have more tailored content towards you. Today, online social platforms. So this is our Connect and Communicate series. And what is being socially connected? As I just mentioned, you might already have some social media accounts or you might not, but some of the biggest social media account names to recognize would be Facebook. Facebook is the biggest social media platform, but Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and there's many, many more, and they all filter down into smaller categories of what they do, whether it's sort of about communication with other people or networking or blogging, but we'll get into that. It does get easier. It can be a bit confusing at first. I've definitely had my fair share where I sign up for a social media and I don't actually understand why, like, what's going on. Like, that was me with Twitter. I had no idea what was going on. But when you realize that Twitter is a microblogging, so people are just talking about their life, it's easier to understand. Twitter is not so much for like conversations as it is more of an informative platform. So, alongside benefiting us on a personal level of keeping in touch, social platforms can be of immense use to your community and or voluntary group. Connecting on a digital platform with members of your group allows you to grow your online community, helping to increase opportunity and find new members. By growing your group's message and informing general members of the public, you're going to create a more significant branding profile, as well as increasing your reach to the general public. So being on social media for your group is highly, highly beneficial. One, to keep your current customers or organization members informed, but two, to reach new people that could maybe get involved or buy your product, and so on and so on. So social media is pretty much free advertisement. So it's definitely something worthwhile of looking into and learning and creating a brand strategy for your group. So what are the best social media platforms for online connection? There are a multitude of social media platforms that you can use to connect. Each platform hosts unique features that will be of varying value depending on how you wish to socially connect. The best ones for social connectivity are Facebook, which is what we will actually be focusing on today, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. They're some of the bigger apps within the social media platform fields. So other platforms that can be used are messaging apps such as Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and Snapchat. So here I'm just looking at the different types of apps that you'll get. So communication is Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Snapchat. Video broadcasting apps, examples of this are TikTok, which is a fairly new app, YouTube and Periscope. Photo-based apps are Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Flickr, and microblogging apps such as Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. So as you notice, I put Facebook Messenger in the communication bracket and Facebook in the microblogging, because if you're using Messenger, you're talking to other people, but if you're using Facebook, you're more putting statuses out there or photos out there just as you would on a traditional blog. So, as Facebook is the largest social media platform globally, this is the recommended place to begin with building your online network. However, if you decide that you want to look into other social media platforms to build community, I would advise that you look at how you will navigate the specific features and functions of the platform and make it work for you. And it's key to understand that different social media platforms have different demographics. So if you have an older demographic but you're using Instagram, which is something that older people aren't on, it just doesn't make sense. So I've put Facebook as the starting point, as most people of all ages tend to have, well, not most people in the world, but in terms of people that have a social media account, they are most likely to have a Facebook account as well as an Instagram account. So I'd recommend Facebook as a place to start, but if not, just look at who the demographic is and how you're appealing to them, and I'm sure you can make it work for you no matter what. So just quickly, what is Facebook? Facebook is a social networking website which allows users to sign up for free profiles. These profiles are to connect with family and friends, work colleagues, and other people they might know online. It allows users to share pictures, music, videos, articles, as well as their own thoughts and opinions with however many people they like. So the benefits of Facebook. The reason that we're really covering Facebook today is due to it being the most globally used social media platform. What sets Facebook apart from its other competitors is its popularity. At last check, Facebook boasts over 2.7 billion active users. Facebook is interactive, collaborative, and informative. So next we're going to look at some features of Facebook. So important features to know if you're coming to terms with Facebook and you're trying to navigate it is, one, you will have a newsfeed. So a newsfeed highlights information that includes status updates, changes to a person's profile, upcoming events, birthdays, and other updates. There's many features, but the newsfeed will be your homepage where you see what other people are uploading or changing, etc., etc. So it's the mainstream of information on Facebook when you press the homepage. Next feature would be likes and reactions. So the like button is a great tool. It enables users to easily interact with status updates, comments, and photos. So you can like articles that people share, or if they upload a picture, you can press like and it shows that you have liked it. So it's like an action, but it's not like a comment, so it's like a very easy way to react. Like I said, so comments, photos, videos, links shared by friends and advertisers. Your next is your personal timeline. So if you go to view your profile, you will have a stream of information on your profile. This page is shown when viewing your own personal profile, and it is the display of your Facebook activity, such as your own personal status updates, posts you've shared, information such as your Facebook friends, likes, and photos all appear on the left-hand side next to this stream of information. So you can see what everyone else is doing on your newsfeed, and on your personal timeline, it keeps track of everything that you've uploaded. So it's something that you can look back on. Photo albums is another great feature. This allows you to upload a group of pictures to your Facebook profile. So an example would be you would upload a file, like a whole folder of photos, and you could title it Holiday in Italy 2016, and people can like it and go on and look at the photos. But it's a nice way to keep photos organized that you're willing to share with other people. Another example there, so I did like a personal example, but the other one is like members meeting 2018. So if you're hosting a Facebook group, it's more of like an organization, you have an event, You take all the pictures from that event, you upload them to Facebook with consent, of course, if you're doing group activities. Upload them to Facebook with consent, and it's a really nice way for people to come onto your group and see what you're doing, see how people are involved. Photos is a great way to promote your group and like the physicality of the activities that you're doing. So next, private and public groups. So that's what I was on about when I was saying group pages. Facebook groups can be created by individual users. Groups allow members to post content such as links, media, questions, events, documents, as well as allowing them to comment on these items. The groups are used for collaboration, discussions, events, peer support, and creating an online community. So if, say, you are a community outreach group and you have a Facebook group profile, people can join this group, they can see what you're about, they can see pictures, where you're based, how to get in contact with you. So it's a really useful tool if you're looking at reaching new people or even engaging the pre-existing community that you're in. So events. Facebook events are a way for members to let friends know about upcoming events in their community and to organize social gatherings. Events require an event name, network, host name, event type, start time, location, and the guest list of friends invited. Events can be public or private, which makes them a really great tool. Private events cannot be found in searches and are invitation only. So you could create an event on Facebook, have it private, you select everyone from your list, and with them it shares the date, the time, and they can accept or deny it. It makes it so much easier than messaging everyone individually and getting yes and no's and trying to make a list. If you do it through Facebook, you can keep track really easily because you have a list of yes, I'm attending, you have a list of maybe, and you have a list of definitely no. So events is something I'd recommend, especially if you're running group stuff. But even me personally, when with my friends, we do it for parties. You'd have like your Christmas work party like that. It works really, really well. Facebook Messenger. So Facebook Messenger is an instant messaging service and software application. Facebook Messenger lets users send messages to each other, complementing regular conversations. Messenger allows users to make voice calls and video calls, both on one-to-one interactions and in a group. So we have covered video calls before, but the other feature is instant messaging of people online who also have Facebook profiles, and also group chats. So group chats are really useful for big group communication and distribution of information. So that's another great feature of Facebook. So possibilities of Facebook. You can use Facebook to facilitate many different group activities or conversations. For example, you could use Facebook for maybe, say, an exercise group or sharing culture and music, like personal interest hobbies, games, church organization, hosting dinner parties, and finding like-minded people with your hobbies. So Facebook is a great tool for networking. I would say first and foremost, it's a networking site where you get to meet like-minded people. And also with these groups, I'm going to tell us how to create a Facebook group. But if you have a Facebook profile, you can search for groups. So say you're really into knitting, I'm sure you could find a knitting group on Facebook that you could join. Someone will accept your request if it's an open sort of group. And it's like a nice free space full of people, all super like-minded, and you can ask all your questions about knitting in there if you wanted to. I know that I'm in some arts groups, so I could ask people where they got specific paints from that I need if I'm looking for something specific, or ask for feedback on a painting. And generally, they're really nice communities to be in. I know for car people as well, there's lots of car groups on Facebook that people enjoy. It's just really personalized content. So I highly recommend Facebook groups if you're looking to branch out and find new people, or if you're looking to create community. So the possibilities of Facebook we just looked at, but now we're going to do how to join a Facebook group, or how to create a Facebook group. So a Facebook group is a place for group communication support, and for people to share their common interests and express their opinion. They allow people to come together and around a common cause, issue, or activity, to organize, agree objectives, discuss issues, post photos, and share related content. Anybody can set up and manage their own Facebook group. You can even join up to 6,000 groups. I'm not saying you should join 6,000 groups, because that would be a lot of information on your newsfeed, but you can join lots and lots of groups, as you don't need to worry about maxing out how many groups that you do join. So any Facebook user can make a Facebook group. Some groups let anybody join, but some other groups may be private. When joining a group, whether private or public, your Facebook friends might see that you've joined it. So it's not something that is completely hidden. If it's private, they might still see the title. So just be careful maybe about what interests you want to share on the internet. When joining a group, whether private or public, your friends might see it. Some groups are secret and can't be searched for, in which case a qualifying group member, brackets, an administrator of the group, so the person that hosted the group and created it, might have to invite you to the group. Leaving a group will not notify other members. So if you're worried about maybe the content's not for you and people might be offended, they won't know that you've left unless they go in and check users. Maybe if it's a small group they'll notice, but it's not notifiable. Only the creator of the group and anyone that they make an administrator has the power to invite someone to the group. So if it is a private group and you get an invite and you accept, you can't then invite other people. It's only the admin people that can invite. So you could send them a message and say, I know this person would be really interested, they'd be like a valuable member in our group, that sort of thing would work, but you wouldn't personally be able to invite them. So, next, how to create a Facebook group. It's super easy. So if you do want to create a group, it's something I'd highly recommend. On your Facebook homepage, at the top right, you'll have a plus symbol, and then on that, I think there's options for like new status, or maybe upload some images, and then there's group. If you select group, you'll be taken to a new page where you enter your group name, you choose your privacy settings, so public or private if you're going to invite people or not, and then you can add people to your group. You do have to wait for them to accept. You can't just put people in there. You click create, and once you've created a group, you can personalize it by uploading a cover photo for it, maybe add some like about the group information, possibly upload a first post, so that people, when they join, know what it's about. Moving on. So creating a group is really simple. I just want to say it's not something intimidating. If you have a group organization, even a church group that meets regularly, I would recommend it as a place to put information and to have people on there constantly engaged, and it will just come up in their normal newsfeed, so it's not obstructive. You're not calling people. It's just something they'll see if they check Facebook. So social media, I've written etiquette. There's not really an etiquette to social media, but you know how it's appropriate to behave on social media. So as you're speaking to and interacting with people that you should know in real life, it can be easy sometimes to forget to keep an element of privacy, because you know these people, you feel comfortable with these people. However, the security of the internet can sometimes be compromised, including social media platforms as big as Facebook. So it's not the best to share personal information on this site. So the way that I see it, if it's really important to tell this person, but you're worried about how confidential it is, pick up the phone and call them and tell them, or wait until you see them in real life, because you just don't know how it's compromised. I would say don't share your bank details at all, even on private messenger, because if it is compromised, then they do have your bank details. What would be other things? I would recommend that you don't upload holiday pictures whilst you're on holiday, because this is something my parents always told me. It just lets people know that you're not home for an unconfirmed amount of time, and if people know you in your area, like, obviously there's no reason to think that everyone in the internet is horrible and they're all out to get you, but you put yourself in a vulnerable position if you do things like that. So it just doesn't make much sense to do that. So that was just the point about privacy, and then we have got some do's and don'ts. So don't overshare private or personal details about yourself. Don't believe everything you read. It's very important in the age of social media to sometimes take a second and think about what you're reading, because it's a platform where anyone can publish anything. And if people talk as if something's fact, it isn't necessarily fact, because anybody could have written it. So I'd just be wary. There's lots of great information on the internet, but some of it, I mean, because anyone could write a website, some of it you don't need to believe everything. Or if you're confused of whether it is true or not true, go and have a little research for yourself. Go on Google, read a few things, and see if it fits the general consensus of the topic. Another thing, do be positive. Social media can be used to boost your image and build connections. I think this is important for a personal account, but definitely a group account. I don't think you want to be going on social media and spreading lots of negativity. I think it's important to keep it light and cheery. People often go on social media when they're having a rest, like they don't need to be agitated. Like, obviously, if something bad happens and we're using social media as a way to support people, I don't know, oftentimes across the world, who are going through hardships, that's completely fine. You're doing positive work, but to come on and spread negative views and just lots of hatred, it just doesn't create a nice digital environment. And also, it reflects you. Your social presence reflects you. So just remember that, to stay positive and keep it light, and it will be easier for people to build connections and network in the way that you'd want to. Another do and don't: do use privacy settings and follow password recommendations. This is a big one. Facebook has lots of privacy features that you can add in. You can make your profile private so people can't see your status updates unless they're your friend, etc., etc. Definitely something to look into. Do share with online community information about your group so that you can connect with new members and other groups and the public. So if you're a group, putting yourself out there, it's what social media is for. So don't hesitate, don't feel like it's a bit difficult or embarrassing. I wouldn't want to say embarrassing because it's not, but this is what social media is built for. So don't feel hesitant. Just put your work out there. I'm sure people are going to enjoy it. And I mean, it's what social media is about. So Facebook Messenger also has the video calling feature that I mentioned earlier. This is a topic that we've covered in our previous Connect and Communicate digital training sessions. If this is something that interests you, visit the video calling basics training link, which I've put there. So you'll be able to access, or you could ask for it in the email. But you can go to there for more information if that feature interested you at all, or that's something that you were looking to do. Facebook Messenger is a great tool for facilitating social connections and communication, and we only very lightly touched on it today. Our next Connect and Communicate session, which is not today's session, no, which is not next week's session, it's the week after. So we do our how-to session next week, and the week after that, we'll do communication on social networks. So we'll look at online messaging, we'll look at our Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, other avenues for that. This is where we'll look at how to use Facebook Messenger and what its benefits are. So if that's what you were looking for in this session, stay tuned. We'll be looking at that next time.